Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Attorney Sharp Raleigh, and today we're going to discuss about something very interesting: the national interest waiver. Why is it important? Because the national interest waiver itself is a product which is very interesting because it doesn't require one, no labor certification, and two, the main thing, it doesn't require an employer. Just like any B1A, you don't need an employer to file that. What you require to get a national interest waiver is determined by a case that was issued by the AAO, which is called the New York State Department of Transportation case, also known as NYSDOT case, which was issued in 1998. The three things that was required in this case was: one, you must show that you plan to work in the United States in an area of substantial intrinsic merit. I'm going to talk a little bit about that with examples. And two, your work has to be done in national in scope. So it has to basically be for the entire country or a large portion of the country. And three, you have to waive the labor certification part of it, which is hence the word national interest waiver. So how do we prove that? And I will give you an example few examples. First of all, I wanted to congratulate our team for a bunch of national interest waiver cases we have been approved on. And recently we did one case in aerospace for a big, large, I don't want to mention the name here, but pretty much people will guess. And we were very happy about this case because it turned out that this person was of a substantial intrinsic merit, and that person was, and the work, of course, since it's aerospace, is in national in scope. And of course, if we had waited, that person will not get a chance to basically do his work. So we congratulate the team for this success stories. And we also, and then we also had a case few years back for a reporter from a country which is basically almost a war-torn country, and it was important to bring that reporter here because we believe he was of substantial intrinsic merit, and ultimately his activity will be national in scope because he's a reporter and obviously a journalist. And his work, if we had waited, will basically, in this case, we could waive the labor certification because the waiting time would not have been helpful. So this is the three things that they are looking for. And we did also a case for an inventor who invented something very interesting, and that person was an H-1B, and the H-1B was getting used up, and we had to do something, and we filed the national interest waiver on time with the adjustment of status, because you can file it concurrently if your dates are current. And by the way, the dates for national interest waiver are under EB2 category, and unfortunately for India it might not be helpful, but you can still file it, because the I-140 that you get out of a national interest waiver, you can keep it with you. It doesn't belong to any company, it's yours, and you can use it for extension for your H-1B, etc. So I recommend that you look into national interest waiver. And I'm going to give an example of a hypothetical case that I am going to give here to give you an idea what is a national interest waiver. Here it is. For example, we have Mrs. X came to us as a renowned organic agriculturist. I kind of changed it. It's a hypothetical I have worked on when I became a lawyer, but I'm still using that. And she has 10 years of experience and is recognized as one of the biggest expert in her field, especially in sustainable organic crops. And the project was going to allow, now allows basically farmers to grow organic crops all the year round. For those who don't know, you are not able to grow organic crops usually all year round. And actually at that time it was very important that we needed someone who understand also pesticide-free agriculture. And what happened now, if you look at it from the perspective of that person, that means basically that person is Mrs. X was of substantial intrinsic merit, and ultimately she also was of her work was national in scope because it was going to benefit the entire United States population. And the third element is because Mrs. X was on a visa that was expiring soon, and we couldn't file really an H-1B at that time because, as you know, H-1B is not open all the time. It made sense that that person should be able to get what we call the national. That person should be able to waive the part of the labor certification, which is the third requirement. So putting all this together, you can file a good national interest waiver. And if this person is not born in India, China, the Philippines, or Mexico, that person can actually file the adjustment of status. In fact, Mexico and even China now is not that bad, so the waiting time is not that long. I think Mexico and the Philippines is not that bad on EB2. So looking at it from this perspective, it makes sense sometimes to consider those kind of visas, especially you don't need an employer and you don't need a labor certification. And we have done many of those cases to basically know what to do. And if you need help how to do your national interest waiver, feel free to call us. The number is 510-742-5887. The website to check is attorneyonair.com. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all the people who listen and view our videos. Please subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can either call us or post your questions on the bottom of this YouTube. Thank you and take care. And again, anything I told you today is for educational purposes only. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any question. Thank you.